Hi, this is Gina. Thank you for joining me today for this Astrology Chat Live on February 5th, 2025. Today, I want to focus on an overview of the current astrology. I try to do these at least once or twice a week. I'm here every day um, doing these astrology chats live, usually in the morning. And yeah, I try to do an overview of the current chart at least once or twice a week. And otherwise, I tend to take a closer look at a transit or some other astrology theme and focus on that for the day. But today I want to look at a big overview, and there are several different things happening to discuss. To start us off, I'm going to just take it one thing at a time, and I'm going to use some little visuals here to help me. I just wanted to say something about Venus and Mars, just sort of generally. I'm going to say more because they are involved in some transits right now, also, that are important to mention. Especially Mars is squaring Chiron, so we're going to talk about that more specifically. And I've been talking about Venus in Aries from a more positive standpoint, and I have a little bit more about that to say. However, something I did want to start off with when thinking about the current astrology of right now is that I do really take pride in not being negative about astrology. It is actually really hard to see how much fear can be used to hold attention or stoke interest. And I very, very firmly believe that astrology is not a tool that was created for that purpose. That's not what this is about. This is a tool that's meant to help us navigate the world, and all energies have many different potentials. So there's never any reason for fear. Um, Sometimes things combine in such a way that uh, I do want to just explain if the vibe is feeling a bit off. Um, so with that said, planets are happier in some signs than others. Planets have placements where it's their rulership. Planets have placements where they're at home. And planets also have placements where they have sort of more negative associations. And I don't usually call planets out for being in their detriment and fallen, because I think those words can carry a lot of weight. But it is interesting that Venus and Mars, both right now, are in somewhat tricky signs for them, right? Mars is in Cancer, retrograde, and Mars has been here in Cancer, retrograde, for a while. And this can be calling up deep emotions to the surface that we haven't worked with for a while. And then Venus in Aries is sort of, in a way, she's held back. There's so many wonderful things about Venus in Aries, and I want to talk about this. There can be a boldness that we're feeling right now. There can be sort of a directness and like a productive anger with Venus in Aries that's very productive and positive to work with. But there is something about Venus in Aries where she can't move in the way she normally likes to. And so that can feel sort of restricting. And yeah, some sort of difficult feelings can come to the surface with Venus in Aries. Sometimes we are working a bit with some uncomfortable feelings or with anger a little bit. So I just wanted to say, as much as I always try to um, talk about the positive sides of things, and I never in any way want to create any fear, and I hope I'm not doing that through this. My intention is really just to say that if emotionally you're feeling a little bit off right now, to just allow for that. Because I think sometimes it's comforting to see in the astrology that something that we're feeling is represented there, because everything is always moving us, all of our experiences, the movement of the planets reflecting it is always moving us toward more growth, toward more alignment with where we're trying to go. We're always moving forward. And sometimes along that path, you can hit different obstacles, or You can have emotions rise to the surface that you need to deal with, like maybe we are right now, or perhaps some anger. There's just like, there can be a little bit of an uncomfortable vibe when we have both of these personal planets, Venus and Mars, in signs where they'd kind of rather not be. When Venus was in Pisces, it was a different story, right? Venus in Pisces was very happy, and we have an extended Venus in Pisces period coming up. So I just wanted to mention that. But while we're still talking about Venus, let me say a little bit more about Venus, because I actually really do feel strongly that Venus in Aries is a bit misunderstood. So when we're talking about astrology, when we're talking about um, these planets and their energies and how they feel in the different signs, we are talking about um, signatures that were set up a very long time ago, in ancient times, even. And sometimes I notice certain things with feminine planets or softer houses, and the idea of something being softer or something being more feminine being seen as negative. And understanding that now in our modern times, that might feel a little bit different. So, what I want to say about Venus and Aries is that I'm not worried about it. You know, I think that Venus in Aries, that bold energy, there's a boldness, there's a directness. Um, it's understandable. And yeah, sometimes Venus in Aries can be a little angry. Maybe she has a reason to be angry. Maybe she has a right to be angry and a reason to be angry. And she needs to express her anger a little bit, at least if only to herself, and accept it in order to, move a situation forward and have it be more aligned with where she wants to be. Is this a threatening sort of energy in the world? Kind of, right? Because this empowered, angry, feminine energy that's bold and direct and unconventional and unique and knows what she wants and knows what's right for her, that isn't always an energy that's super accepted. It makes me think of when Mars is in Pisces. I really like Mars in Pisces, but it sort of has a bad reputation because Mars is a little held back. Well, Venus is a little held back here too, but she's doing something different. And all of the 12 signs serve a purpose for these planets, and it serves a purpose for all of us, right? So I just wanted to say that there could be some sort of energy with that right now that you're feeling. Like I said, when we were talking about Mars as well, there can be a bit of a tension with this, but I think the boldness is good. I have no problem with the boldness of Venus. Okay, also I think it's really interesting to temper this Mars that I was just speaking about. So let me show what I mean with this transit. I want to talk now about Mars um, making a square to Chiron in Aries. We don't talk about Chiron that much, but or we haven't yet. But I really like to use Chiron. It's um, to keep it brief. This is bringing in some themes about healing on an even deeper level. Mars retrograde in Cancer is about the potential to heal some old emotional wounds. And now, with it making this connection to Chiron, that is even stronger. And there may be some connection to something from the time of the eclipses last year. And I know that was a while ago now, but something from last spring might have opened up with this story, because this place, this 19-degree point for Aries, is exactly where the eclipses were. So it's interesting whenever that point is connected for it to still be working on that story. So if you know something that was sort of coming up for you very acutely late March, early April of 24, that's still kind of ongoing, know that there's some sort of potential for healing energy with that right now. Okay, now I need to add in one more really, really important layer to everything that we've talked about. And in some ways, some of the stuff we've talked about about the current astrology right of this moment is a little difficult. Um, but this is great. This is Mercury trine Jupiter. And Jupiter is just stationing right now. So Jupiter is super slow in the sky, holding that place in such strength. And Jupiter is a planet of expansion, of information with this connection to Mercury. I feel like this is good news. If I had to just guess at it very quickly, it's like good news. It's new information. It's thinking about things in a different way that's a little bit more uplifting. It's an uplifting conversation. It's a nice voicemail message. It's a wonderful conversation or connection. So I think that's really nice energy on top of everything else that we have going on right now. I would say in general, the sort of astrology of this moment, we're also at this point where there's just so many outer planets working through early and late degrees. We're in an era shifting moment. And I'm not going to bore with all those details now, but I will just sort of point out that we have Neptune at 28 degrees. The nodes also just changed signs. Uranus will change signs soon enough. Pluto has recently changed signs. These are rare outer planet transits. So this is like in the background, an era shift. We all have whatever we have going on in our individual lives and in the way we're moving through the current times. And then there's also just big changes happening all around us. And I'm sure we can all feel that. And it all does feel, it's like there's sort of a heaviness, there's a healing potential, there's good news, there's boldness and emotional energy. There might be a little anger, a little tension. That all sounds about right to me. What do you guys think? Um, that's basically all I have for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will be back again tomorrow.